Hello, once again, you are welcome to our Excel tutorial. So today we are going to look at some few things. Let's open our Excel. Then from this point, we go to blank documents. Okay, so we are going to do some few things, and to make it easy, we want to import our data and use that to do the tutorial. So this data that we are going to import, I've imported the data and we want to work on this data that we have. So there are some few things that we are going to do. What we are going to do is that we want to do the if statement. The if statement. So in this if statement, what you are trying to do is that you type in a function, and from that formula, Excel would generate what you want Excel to generate for you. So quickly, we'll work on our week 1 if and count if for this if statement. So quickly, let's look at this. So first, I want Excel to be able to tell me that if this is food and this is the type of food, and here it is either a fruit or a vegetable, I want Excel statement to tell me that this is a fruit. And if it is not a fruit, then it should tell me it is a vegetable. So let's see how we can go about that. So because it's an if statement, we start with if. So we start with equal to if, in typing Excel formula. So equal to if. Then what have to do is that to put our argument in a bracket. So the argument we want to make is that open a bracket. So as I open a bracket, so it says that I should type my logical test. So my logical test is that if whatever is in D8, if whatever is in D8 is actually equal to, I open my quotation mark, is actually whatever is in D8, if it's equal to fruit, right? If it's equal to fruit, if whatever is there is equal to fruit, I close my quotation mark. If it's fruit, what I want Excel to tell me is that in quotation mark, I type, this is a fruit. Okay, this is a fruit. Then I close my quotation mark again. So the argument is that if D8 is equal to the word there is fruit, what I want Excel to tell me is that this is a fruit. Or else, comma, if it is not a fruit, then whatever is there into quotation mark again, whatever is there is this is a vegetable. So this is a vegetable. Okay, I close my quotation mark. So notice, so D8 is equal to fruit, comma, then say this is a fruit, quotation mark again, then comma, quotation mark again, this is, or it is a vegetable. Then I close the bracket. So this has been the argument. Equal to if, open a bracket, D8 is equal to quotation mark fruit, close the quotation mark, comma, quotation mark again, this is a fruit, quotation mark, comma, quotation mark, this is a vegetable, quotation mark, and I close the bracket. After that, I press enter on the keyboard. So it writes for me that whatever is in there is a fruit. I can quickly do my autofill to do the rest for me. So it will tell me the number, what is a fruit there and what is a vegetable. And here, number of fruit, I can actually count the number of fruits if I use the count if command. So I click in front of the number of fruits, and as you know, in typing an Excel formula, you start with equal to. So equal to count if, then I open a bracket and say, what I want Excel to count is all the things in D8, right? The range from D8, and whenever you're typing a range, is to D26. That should be the last cell, up to D26. And then say, count if D8 to D26, comma, if into bracket, so quotation mark, if it's fruits, then quotation mark again, and I put the whole thing into bracket, the whole argument into bracket, and I press enter. It will count and tell me there are 9 fruits over there. So the same way, I pick up the formula and type for, I want to type the same formula for, so let me just copy the formula, okay. So let me just click here and then just type it again. So I want to count the vegetable. So equal to, as you know, you have to start the function, the formula with an equal sign, equal to count if. You open the brackets. By now, I think you are getting it. D what? 8. I'm referring to the cell. Is to D26. Then what do I want? Comma. I want you to count the vegetables. So the vegetable, you have to type exactly what is in the cell. Then quotation mark again, I close the bracket and press enter. It told me the vegetables are 10. Let's go to our next cell. That's the sheet. That's week 2 class list. Let's click on the week 2 class list. Here, we can type in some index numbers to generate some numbers. So let's see ED slash BSS slash 23 slash, let's say 0001. So that's the index number we type. I press enter. And I go and select the thing again, and then I can choose to click and drag. You see, I can choose to click and drag this way, or I can actually come to where the dot is, and then when it turns into a tick plus sign, I double click. It will also do the auto generation for me. So that's that to do auto generation. Then I come to my total for the quiz. I'm going to sum it, a total for the quiz 1 and quiz 2 total. So as you are typing a formula, you know, in Excel, if I want to type a formula, you know the format. You start with an equal sign. So equal to what? Sum. In mathematics, you are adding. So equal to sum. Then what I have to do is to open the brackets, because I'm going to put my argument in the bracket. What do I want to sum? I want to sum cell C2. So cell C2 plus cell D2 in this case. Then I close the bracket. My argument is finished. I press enter. Excel will do the total for me. The next thing I have to do now is to select my result. And then in my formula bar, it shows me the formula that I use. Then when I come to the edge and double click, it will now do a refill or autofill for me to get what I want. Now, as we continue, what we want to now do is to find our 60% of our total score, which is 100. It was scored 100. How do we get what we want? What we want to do is to start with an equal sign, of course. That is the format with Excel. But this time, what we want to do is that we want the things in cell F2, okay, to be multiplied by 0.6. Why 0.6? 60 over 100 is the same as 0.6. So we want to multiply whatever score there by 60%. We want to multiply by 60%. So whatever is in F2 times 0.6. Then I will then, okay. So I'll then press the enter to generate it. So you can see what I got. So whatever is in F2 times 0.6. Okay. I know you must be asking, why didn't he put the formula in the bracket? It will still work when I did the equal to times whatever is in cell F2 times 0.6. So now as I do a double click, it's put in the other calculations for me. I don't have to worry myself to calculate. Let's do a total of whatever it is that we are doing. So we want 60% and 40% to be our new total. Can you help us with the formula to use? Yes, can you process it and think What are we going to type there? Okay, so as we know in starting your formula, don't forget to start with your equal to. Then this time around, we are adding 40% to our 60%. So once we are adding, it is sum. Then what we can do is that we are adding whatever is in cell E2. Oh, I didn't put it in the bracket this time around. So let's repeat the format, okay? So sum equal to sum. Let's open a bracket and now add as we are summing up. So we're going to add the things in the bracket. So equal to sum E2 then plus. We have our 60%. Okay, in this case, the space for me to see what I'm going to type is not there. So let me press the escape key to stop whatever it is that I was doing. Okay, escape, and let me delete this so that I can open this while we see what we are typing. Okay, I've opened it up. Let me type at my total again. So equal to sum. Okay, open a bracket, and then the 40% is in E2, then plus whatever is in G2. Then I close my bracket and press enter. It has given me the total of 29 plus 51. Of course, it's 50. Let me close my cell now and make it smaller. Then I can now select my 80 and double click here to do the autofill for me. Now, another important thing that we are going to do here is to do the grading system. So what we are going to tell Excel is that if somebody score a particular score, that is, we are going to do the if statement. If I score 80 and above, what grade should Excel give to me? If I score 70, what grade should Excel give? So we are going to type this formula into our Excel. And we know you have to take pains and follow me here as we work. Okay, so as I've clicked there, what I'm going to do is that, you see, with Excel, once I've selected the active cell, I can go to the formula bar, click there, and type in my formula. And as I type, Excel will put the formula inside the active cell. So this is the active cell. I've clicked in my formula bar. Let me show you. So I've selected the active cell when I want the answer to be. Then I go to my formula bar and click there. And now let me type. So equal to if is an if statement. Equal to if. Then I open a bracket and make my logical argument. What is my argument? Whatever is in cell H2, if that is greater or equal to, okay, I believe you are following the trend. We want you to understand that we are doing the if statement. I am saying that whatever is in cell H2, if it is greater or equal to 80, okay, if it's greater or equal to 80, what do I want Excel to do? I want Excel, quotation mark, the result should be A, another quotation mark. So I've made the first argument. Then I bring a comma. Okay? Now after bringing the comma, then I go again. So if, then I open another bracket. Whatever is in H2 is greater or equal to, this time around, 75. Then comma. Then what is my argument? I want Excel, quotation mark, to give B plus, quotation mark again, comma. Then if, open a bracket. Remember, I'm opening brackets. So when I'm finished, we are going to see how we're going to work on this bracket. So if, open a bracket, whatever is in H2, we are referring to the H2 cell because that's where we are putting our argument, is greater or equal to, this time, 70. What do we want Excel to do, comma, quotation mark, just give B, quotation mark again, comma. There we go. If, I believe you are following in, what do we do? Open a bracket. What do we type? H2. What do we do? Is greater or equal to, what do we want now? 65, comma, what do we have? Open quotation mark. Then we say that should be a C plus. Quotation mark again, comma. So I believe you are following. What is the next thing to type here? If, of course, open a bracket. What? H2 is greater or equal to what? If it's greater or equal to what? This time around 60. Then what do? Comma. What should Excel give? Quotation mark. What should Excel give to you? C. Quotation mark again. Comma. We go again. If, I believe now you know the trend, open a bracket. H2 is greater or equal to, is greater or equal to 55, comma, what should Esther give? Quotation mark. What is that? D plus. Okay? Quotation mark again, comma. If, open a bracket, H2 is greater or equal to 50, what do? Comma, quotation mark, D, quotation mark. You see, now our argument is saying that if you get 50 or equal to 50 or anything within above 50, Excel should give a grade of D. Now we don't want to say E, so we say then comma, quotation mark. Then it means that if I didn't mention whatever grade I didn't mention, give them E, quotation mark. So you see, the argument had been anything that is 80 and above, A. So when I've made the second argument and say anything that is 75 or equal to and above, give B. Once I've satisfied the requirement for 80, Excel will give the B up to 79. Once it gets to 80, it will refer to the first instructions that I gave. Okay, so now it's come down to 50. Anything below 50, that's the argument, give E. If I didn't mention any of the score within here, any other score there, give E. Now let's notice something. My first argument was 80. Let's count it. 80, 1, 75, 2, 70, 3, 65, 4, 60, 5, 55, 6, then 57. These are the number of brackets that I have opened. Remember, if I'm typing any argument, I open a bracket. So equal to, if H2 is greater or equal to 80, I open a bracket. That's number one. I gave A. The second, if H2 is greater or equal to 75, I gave B. That was my second bracket. So when you count the number of brackets that I've opened 7 times. So what I have to do is to close this document with 7 different brackets, each closing the first bracket that I opened. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's my 7 closing, to mean that I have typed this thing 7 times. So I close it 7 times. After this, enter on the keyboard. When I do, you see that Excel gave a grade of A. Excel gave a grade of A. Why? Whatever is in that cell is 80, is equal to 80. So let's select the A. Come and do our autofill because Excel understands the format now. Click on that. It gives the grading. These are gradings are done. These are gradings are done. When it comes to the remarks, you can go by the same way of just typing if whatever is there is A, give this remark. If whatever is there, we can either work with the alphabet or say if whatever is there is 80 and above, just like the first argument we made. If it's an 80 and above, give, let's say, excellent. So let me just give you an example. I click here and go and say equal to if, right, open a bracket. Then say H2 again. If it is greater, just like what we did, greater or equal to 80, comma, quotation mark, then excellence. Excellent. Okay, so this is the argument I'm making. And I have to continue with what I did to the rest and type everything. In this case, I just want to do one of it. So if I close the bracket and press enter, it gives me excellent. Remember, when I do autofill, I'll not get it. Why? Because I didn't place the same argument for the rest. I didn't. So you see, it was able to do the excellent, the ones that are 80 and above for me. The rest, it says false. Because why? I did not make the same case for them. I can now continue with the same argument, and let's say comma. So I put a comma and I go for if, open a bracket. Okay, if, open a bracket, and say H2, if it is greater or equal to, the next one was 75, right? Comma, the argument I want is very good. So let's say very good. I close the bracket. Let me close with two brackets and I press enter. I've made an argument. Now when I select this, anything that is below, that's about 75, it will grade it. So you see, I have a very good here because what here is 78. So I have to continue this argument for the rest of the data. If I continue this argument, I'll have all the things that I want to get, and then it will do. I am sure you should be able to enter this data on your own. What I did is that now this bracket, I can take the 2 from there and do a comma again and go to what? If, then I open a bracket and say H2, if it is greater or equal to, this time around, the next one is 70. Okay, comma, quotation mark, and say good. That's the next one you're giving. Quotation mark again. If I want to just end here, I have to close it 3 times because the argument has been open 1, 2, 3. So I do 3 brackets, closing bracket, 1, 2, 3. I press enter. The argument is sound. So you see, when I double click to run it, everywhere I have so good at this point because it is 70. Because that's the argument. So you can run the rest yourself or write any if statement on your own. Let's try another one. The next one we want to do is to filter. Let's select the cell filter. Okay, we want to filter a document. So in this case, this is the document I have. Okay, so let's say filters are already applied to it. So let me go to data. Let me just start the process. Okay, so this is my document. I go to the title of the document, any of these titles of the document. I click on it and go to data tab. And then in the data tab, under sort and filter group, I'll see filter. Then I click on filter. So it has put a filter on all the titles. So in this case, what I want to do is that I want to sort those who did IT. So this is a department and the employees are here. I just want to pick only those who did IT, who are in the IT department. So I come to the drop down arrow beside the department and click on it. It gives me the list of all the people in the department. So what I have to do is to uncheck anybody I don't need. To waste my time and do that, I rather click on select all. The select all means that it has been selected already. So once I click on select all, it will deselect them. So let's see, if I click on select all, everything is selected. So the same time when I click on the select all again, it will deselect them. So I can just go to deselect them and pick the only IT that I want from the list by clicking to check it. Once I check the IT, I can now click on OK, and Excel will filter only the people doing IT or the ones in IT department for me. Isn't that amazing? In case I don't want to filter anymore, I select one of the titles, then I come back to my data tab, come to the sort and filter group and click on clear. It clears the filter that I had. Now I have all the other people here. So when you have been given a document to just filter, there is no need worrying yourself to look for the name one after the other. You can apply filters to it. That will help you to be able to sort what you want and then filter them out of the list of lots that you have. Let's look at splitting a cell. So this is, let's say, a document I have. What I want to do is I want to split the names of the people into first and last names. So I come to, this is the first and last name, they are here. I want to split it in the next cell. So I put the mouse pointer on the column header B. It turns into a thick black arrow pointing down. Then I'll right click on it. If I right click on it, a menu will come. I click on insert. It inserts a whole row for me. Let me right click on the B title again. Right click there and select insert. It inserts another one for me. So what I'm going to do is that in the B1, I name it first name. Okay, and I go to C1 and type last name. Okay, so our first name, last name. Okay, the next thing I want to do is the data I want to split. The data I want to split. So I highlight the data, the names. Let me click. But remember, when you are highlighting, your mouse turns into a thick plus white sign. I click on the Garrett and then scroll down till I select all the other data. So I have the data selected. Now that I've selected the data, the next thing I have to do is to come to the tabs in the ribbon and select Data tab. Data tab. After that, I come to the Data Tools group. Data Tools group. And I click on Text to Columns. So let me click on that. Text to Columns. Okay. It also already says that to delimited characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. Okay. Let me go to next. I didn't change anything there. Go to next. Here, if you look at the names of the people that I have here, what is the common delimiter that will differentiate between the first and the second name? In this instance, it is not a semicolon, it is not a comma, but it is a space between the first and the last names. So let me check the space as my delimiter. That is what I'm going to use to differentiate between first and last names. Well, the moment I click on space, the document is preview here for me. You can see data preview. You can see the names being split. Then I come and click on next. This is where is the tricky part. Where do I want to put in my split documents? I now come and click on, they say destination. I click in the destination, delete whatever destination was there, and come back to my Excel sheets behind. You see, I want it to start with the first name. I want it to start from B2. So I click on B2. The moment I click on B2, the computer, the Excel automatically inserts my B2 for me. So it inserts my B. So you can see equal to $ B $2. So that is a referencing. I'm referencing the cell that I want Excel to put my split documents in. So once I reference the cell I want it to be in, then I click on finish. It says that, oh, there is already data here. Do you want to replace the data? It's me where I want to put it. I just go to OK, and it immediately do the split beautifully in the two cells for me. Let me just highlight it and show you something. Let me use the let me try to put the grid lines in it for you to see how the data has been separated. So you can see when I did the grid lines, you can see the names are separated first and then last names. So if the people have 3 names, then what I can do is to do 3 cells, right? And I can split the names all into those cells if I want to. Okay, now let me ask you this. If you are asked to separate this data right here, what will be your common delimiter? Here, we can easily choose the comma, because you can see San Diego, comma, LA. So the comma can be a delimiter in this data that we have here. So if you want to split your data, this is how to go about it. Simple how to split your data. Okay, let's look at these few things again. Okay, in this same work, we can decide to sort our data. You see, let me just come to the names here. I've selected the first name. Then let me go to data. I can decide to sort ascending. This is sort ascending from the lowest to the highest, or sort descending from the highest to the lowest. So I can sort my data and choose. So when I click on the name and click on sort descending, it starts with Zane, which is a Z. But when I click on this data and go to sort ascending, it starts with an A. I can sort my document out. So all A people are in line, followed by B, followed by C, followed by D, so up to the last number. So can we also sort numbers or anything that we want to sort in a cell? You just have to select what you want to sort and come to Data tab and click on Sort. Either you are sorting ascending or you are sorting descending. You are sorting descending. Let me just mention to you that find out how to do cell referencing, types of cell referencing. Just try and find it out on your own. This is just like a small homework that I'm giving to you. Okay, let's do something here. Let me pick a data and then try to find something else from this data. Okay, so let's say this data is asking us to charge VAT. Okay, so if it's asking us to charge VAT, let's see how to go about it. So let's say the VAT is actually 10%. 10%. Okay, so we say equal to, you know, definitely have to start the argument with an equal sign. So equal to whatever is in this cell, which is cell C4, okay, times a VAT of 20%, so 0.2. So the VAT of 0.2. I press enter on the keyboard, and you know, 20% of 500 is actually 100. If it's 10%, it would have been 50. So I can just do an autofill. It does the autofill for us. Then I go to total. What will be the total? Obviously equal to sum, open a bracket, cell C4 plus cell D4, close your bracket, enter. Okay, so let me do autofill by clicking on the document and doing an autofill. Now, what we want to do is that let me just make this one dark, or let's say, let me make it bold. What we want to do is that we want to plot a graph, a bar graph, and then a pie chart with this document. So what do? I select the first part, I highlight it, I press the control key down and then highlight the total. So I've highlighted two items. I've selected the items, TV, computer, radio, and I've selected the total. Then from there, I go to insert. Okay, so I go to insert, and once I go to insert, I can come to charts and then select my bar chart that I want, my bar chart. So let me pick the 2D one, click on the bar chart, and you can see below this bar chart, let me just increase it for you to see. Below this bar chart, I have TV, computer, radio, and speaker. So just like what I have here. And then the totals are the height of it. So you can see radio here is actually the smallest. That's 70.80. So radio is actually the smallest here that we have. Then I can actually decide to play with the things I have here. Maybe play with my brush to change the type of graph and the bar chart that has been given and choose the one that I want. So I can play with the bar chart that I want. Then I can actually right click on this and copy it. So if in case I want to open this in Microsoft Word, I can go and insert it. But quickly, let's look at something. Let's look at the color. I can play with the color, and then as I select the color, it keeps on changing. So you see, I can change into any color tone that I want. To change the thing, I can go to format, right, my bar chart, and then just play with a few things that I have around and see what becomes of my work. So I can double click on the total, right, and let's see if the bar chart, I want to give it a name. So let's say items in the supermarket. Okay, let's say supermarket. Okay, supermarket. Okay, so items in the supermarket. I finished typing, I click somewhere. So that's the title of my work. Okay, let me just do a pie chart with this same document so that you know that before I copy it to Word. So I can now come back to my insert and rather decide to come for a chart, okay, for the same work. So you see, the moment I went to select chart, it has actually changed the bar chart into a pie chart. So you see, I can actually edit this pie chart to get what I want. So I can edit this pie chart. If I don't want this, I can choose a different star and work on that. I can go to a design and select the design that I want to actually change these various pie chart. Let me go to colors. I can now go and choose the color range that I want. So that's when I put it on the color shade, the shade begin to change and give me a different color shade. So I can actually change the color shade that I want from that part. You see, so if this is the pie chart I want to insert, I can right click on pie chart and then do a fill. So you can actually play with it. As I selected the fill, you realize that it's changed the document entirely. I can also do an outline to see what type of outline I want to choose for my work. When I click on it, you can play with all these things as much as you want. So please, when I click on this, I can now right click on the whole work and go to copy. So in case I want to just paste it in Word, I go and open Word where I want to paste it, and I can easily paste this in Word so that I can continue to work with my data. Okay, so we did how to do how to generate pie chart and bar chart for Word. I paste it, Control V, or I can actually go to, let me just do the normal paste. I can come to the clipboard and paste it. And this is exactly the document I copied, and I have it here. So I have my document here. I can manipulate the document from here as and how I want and successfully send it to my Word. So basically, this is what we definitely have to go through as part of our Excel. Remember to remind ourselves, we've done sorting and then filter, and then we've sort ascending and descending. We've also done a filter. We've tried to split our data where we did the splitting of the names. Then we also did insert the bar chart and pie chart into our work, as you can see, even still on the screen. Then we did a COUNTIF, where we worked with various data that we had to do our COUNTIF. First, we made a statement of fruits and vegetables, and we counted the number of fruits and vegetables. We came to our week 2 and did an excellent work here, generating grade for students. Then we did a filter where we could filter our documents, and then we can also filter ascending or descending. Then we did a splitting of our document where names were split into other cells so that we can successfully have first and second names. So basically, this will be the end of our tutorial, and thank you very much.